Greetings and welcome to my dear Virgos out there. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. Tarot of the Twin Sun is a functional division within the Order of the Twin Sun. Please take only what you will. The 6th house is open and the axis of the 6 and the 12 spin accordingly as to a design wherein the abstract realm, the spiritual realm, the transcendental realm is observed by the sort of reflection that occurs here. Therein, within the 6 and the 12, lies this reflective quality that is supposed to bridge the physical world with the metaphysical, the beyond, the infinite. And often, Virgoans will draw in an energy of people who are here to essentially lead in their own obstinacy, lead in their own detached quality, a super detached, hyper detached quality, paths of newness. Okay, that is the mystery of the House of the 12. It's the house of moksha, liberation, freedom, spirituality, transcendence, the otherworldly, as well as the futuristic, the highest degree of human evolution. And so with this, we're going to go ahead and analyze some of the karma that exists for Virgo in the month of January 2023. Look at an incidental sort of fragment of that karma, see what happens in January for that. And we'll also prognosticate using the Great Mirror, which is a tool devised by the Order. It's a 9-card spread with a bridge section, and essentially we'll be looking into some of the more karmic effects between Virgo and a specific other, significant other. So we'll go into that as well. I do thank you for tuning in and supporting the channel. Okay. So the karma for January for the placement of Virgo it has to do with balancing two realities out, finding a center point, finding a way to do this. Also, the mystery of the Natraja, which is the dance of Shiva, comes into play. And in this dance, you are essentially destroying one world to create another, destroying something in order to create another, to create balance, to create harmony. And there in the still point and the focus of Shiva through the Natraja dance form comes out. It could be that you have come to a point of peace and utter relaxation, some sort of stillness, a deep meditative state. After much rumination, much thinking, much processing, there's a need for rest. And in December, with the solstice, the deep rest comes in with the darker winter nights, and there's a great deal of isolation as well as processing dream sequences in the night form, in Varuna, in the night form of day and night of the day cycle. What this is moving forward to is clarity, especially when it comes to analyzing your relationships. Okay? Clarity has reached a culmination point. Now you are going to transform one version of your reality into another, and you're going to find a balance between maybe even two projects, two different ways of living, your days and your night sequences, finding a certain balance between those two to come up with what it's a hidden form of the Two of Cups, also trying to cut through any bullshit when it comes to pretentious relationships, Okay. Furthermore, there is a possibility of, let's see here, it would be the Three of Swords, Seven of Swords, of a way to address some of the shortcomings, okay, when it comes to communication, especially in communication in the past. I think you've left someone behind or left a part of you behind that is purifying your environment, purifying essentially your relationships, especially during this month, balancing out essentially in such a way that it works for all those concerned. There's a strange sort of way of expressing yourself, like a need to find balance by staying still, by essentially coming up with a way to balance out in a very difficult, limiting way, balance out, two different realities, two different outcomes. What I do see here ultimately is the ability to see through the bullshit and essentially come to a state of balance because of doing that. Let's see here. I need to figure out more about this Two of Pentacles. Because usually with the Two of Pentacles, the finite point, the point of concentration, it comes with that card. There's a natural balancing out of efforts, balancing out of different relationships, and making it work because of the dynamo, the infinitum. Okay. And this implies that with two different golden rounds come the center point, the point of stillness. Okay, 1 and 2. Okay, so balancing this out is going to prove fairly interesting. There's a need to come to a state of peace of mind, but also to depart from this action, meaning that I'm not sure how long you'll be able to maintain the balance. There's a need to move forward, a strong need to push forward. One thing has to do with boundaries. Being able to essentially have the vision to prevent any paths that may be sort of like forced onto you by the cause of fate, by the sort of the denigration of free will. There's a need to assert your will that I see here on one end, on one reality, and then the other has to do with a calling. So this has to do with with fate versus free will, essentially trying to see where you can be centered in on and balance out through the auspices of Mercury your own actions and as they relate to fate, as they relate to something that is predetermined or that is prescribed by the heavens. And I think you're going to find that the ultimate outcome may come in the point of creating your own agency within a system, okay? Creating your own power, your own ability to do things in a system, finding yourself alone in that process, but then also some form of secret order coming in to actually help you with that. It will help empower you. Now, both of these paths, whether it's the path of free will versus the path of fate, both of them, they go to the same path, and this path requires a lot of isolation. You'll glean much more there. You'll become a student of this process as the month progresses, I would assume. Now, let's move forward. So we're going to the Great Mirror now. The Great Mirror is a way to see Virgo's relation to a significant other. Okay, you're dealing with a connection here that is sincere. There is an element of you feeling like that both of you are guided to balance out something within each other. You see this person as a balancing out agent. They may give you the opportunity of peace of mind, but they also see in you someone who is very neurologically charged by this connection, perhaps even on your own. There's something about the process of thoughts that kick in January that give you a lot of energy and dynamism, but also it leads you to the sequence of swords, which ultimately results in the 9 and the 10 of swords. You know, it ends 7, 8, 9, and 10 of swords, which can produce the effective truth, but with the 3 of swords being here, justice will give you the 4th, and with that there's an ability to find a state of peace of mind, equilibrium. Okay. This has to do with the elements of the Fool moving towards justice. Okay. The ability for the first house, the assertion of self, to move to the house of selflessness, the 7th house, and the house of relationships. There's an interesting dynamo here that has to do with the production of an effect, okay, through the auspices of higher learning, higher thinking, the elevation of thought, the elevation through the 7, the 9, through justice, and Sagittarius through the 9th house. So what I'm seeing here ultimately is a type of connection that helps to surrender the mind, okay? And as you do this, there's the ability to see things quite clearly as they are written, as it would be written in a sincere form of a letter, let's say, or some sort of messaging on a text relay system. What is coming to be, if the Fool moves forward with his rod, the five of rods would become sequenced, and what that points to essentially is the culmination of efforts that could prove to be inspiring, but not necessarily conducive to anything much else. This has to do with a likeness, seeing people and seeing some sort of similar person, and this person takes away something from you. If they do, they leave you at a point of stillness. If they give something to you, they leave you at a point of stillness. There are 2 forms of stillness. One is a more meditative form. The other is more like a waking versus sleeping sort of life sequence within the swords. What culminates on a conscious level, I think, is the 9 of Cups in reverse, mostly. As well as the 2 of Pentacles in the reverse. Okay, so these are latent effects that occur within the mirror sequence, and they contribute to the idea that you can make a choice, that there is a choice, and there also is a choice to perhaps make boundaries or to not let anything happen in terms of the sequence of pain, the sequence of swords. What I also do see here is a lot of energy that is based on Cups, on the possibility of great love, intense desire. Also, there's a possibility of the 5 of Cups, which has to do with what has been given to you. So from the 5 to the 7, the difference is the 2 of Cups that's hinted, but also there's the possibility of the 3 of Cups in addition. Let's see, because that would be the 7, then it would be the 2 of Cups plus, yeah, it would be 2 of Cups primarily, yeah. So what I'm seeing here is the ability to become fertile in this connection on a deeper level, to balance out the cup sequence and to note what is missing, which could be love, but at the same time to note that that thing is fundamentally there. There's a lot of intensity, there's a lot of, I would call it, history when it comes to this type of connection. And it pushes forward to the guiding aspects of the Empress. Okay, the Empress card. That's right here. This Empress card is very different though in this deck, and it's known as Apui. The birds are watching over, and there's a desolate landscape on the bottom. So the elements of fertility, of migration are here. There's a need to sow seeds in other places, other lands, okay? So this points to a relationship that primarily gives a sense of peace. There's a need to also jump into a prospect of faith here, of starting something in order to initiate the balancing out of certain karmas with this person and to find a sense of peace of mind, okay? The thing is that when the Fool contributes to the Four of Rods, ultimately what comes about is the Five, okay, which could lead to collapse. There's something about this where if you were to pursue this connection in such a way, there is a possibility for repulsion. At the same time, there's a degree of union that has to do with what is said, what is written between both of you, and also the idea that you are being watched over, that there's something about this that forces you into a type of movement, okay? You could feel very intense, they can feel very intense about you, and because of the Three of Swords, there's a lot of thought going into this connection. Give it time. Something new is coming that has to do with the processing of what you're going through in your mind, okay? If this person has slighted you in any way and given you a sense of false justice or false pretense when it comes to the production of truth, the ability to see things for what they are, and also to essentially feel that burn. There's something about that that will help you to process this connection, and furthermore, it will bring you to the point of joy that you are that you may be searching for, a sense of a friend, even the sense of someone who can be there unconditionally for you and for them. There also is a possibility that this might just be some sort of temptation, okay? That this temptation might be really strong and compelling. They can represent something that will help balance you out in some way. But these are all possibilities. I think that the transformation will occur within, regardless of what you do without or with this person. So there's something about that points to the breaking through your own limitations, okay, especially if boredom or if the idea of something new can help you to get out of this cycle. In January, the idea is to do that, to take the journey and to find the perspective, but that's within yourself, okay? That's the very best I can do. I do wish you well. Thank you. Bye-bye.